Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in this learning space with you today, with my peers as we share the incredible work of our respective organization. It's really made possible through this historic investment through the U.S. Forest Service. And I just want to take a little bit of time to really thank our attendees for really coming into this space and being willing to learn in this peer-to-peer learning opportunity. My name is Samira Malone. I'm the Director of Urban Forestry Initiatives for the Center for Regenerative Solutions, as Dana mentioned, is a fiscally sponsored organization of the Urban Sustainability Directors Network. And so I just wanted to spend a little bit of time providing context about both of our organizations. So the Center for Regenerative Solution brings together cities, resource specialists, community-based organizations, science, innovators, and other practitioners to accelerate the implementation of regenerative nature-based solutions that simultaneously improve the social, economic, environmental resiliency of local communities, and also scaling citywide climate actions through knowledge and sharing of innovation. As mentioned, we work in very close partnership and fiscal agency with the Urban Sustainability Directors Network. So our fiscal agent and partner has been in existence since 2008, and now they connect over 270 communities across North America, representing more than 100 million residents across the US and Canada. And they're a really powerful network sharing best practices and innovative solutions to address urban sustainability challenges. And then USDN also fosters collaboration, peer learning, and acceleration of ideas that can be scaled to create really meaningful impact and change across North America. So I just wanted to share a little bit of context about our organization and the relationship that we have with the Forest Service through this historic funding. So in 2023, the USDA and the U.S. Forest Service selected the Center for Regenerative Solutions and USDN as national pass-through partners, entrusting us with $28 million of this historic $1.5 billion investment through the Inflation Reduction Act. And this significant award has allowed our organization to re-grant funds to communities across the country with the goal of accelerating urban forest projects, bolstering climate resilience, enhancing green infrastructure, and truly promoting equity. This funding is really helping us to catalyze our supports and efforts to grow and sustain urban tree canopies, improving air quality and mitigate impacts of extreme high heat in our most vulnerable communities across the country, while also this very unique opportunity to create job opportunities and a pipeline for our future environmental stewards of tomorrow. And so what's really interesting is we see that there is a wide variety of portfolio that these cities these passive entities are managing. We have the great pleasure of managing across 25 diverse cities in the United States. So our Forest Service portfolio is driving urban forestry initiatives in 25 unique communities. And through this, we're providing tailored support and helping each community advance their variety of urban forestry activities. And this is just to kind of give you a visual of the widespread geography that our organization gets to cover through this portfolio. One of the other things that we're really excited about is being able to have this historic opportunity to serve as pass-through partners for this funding is the technical assistance offerings that we're able to provide the cities in our portfolio. So our technical assistance offerings provide comprehensive support to help our communities succeed in their urban forestry project. We provide technical assistance anywhere from expert consultation in areas like urban heat analysis, community engagement, workforce development, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, specialized trainings and workshops, even down to reporting and grant compliance. We really take pride in being able to provide that white glove service to our 25 portfolio cities and helping to tailor all of their unique needs to really have success on the ground, saturating these funds into communities that need them the most. And so, of course, as I mentioned, we have our 25 cities that we manage through this portfolio, but we also have had this really unique opportunity to work with the Forest Service to deploy our phase 2 of funding. So as I mentioned earlier, we received $28 million in funding, but we were able to have an additional $5 million of that reserved for us to begin to ideate around what it looked like to put together a innovative, creative grant program that could help support the needs of the communities that we're working with. And so that bore this opportunity, this perfect serendipitous opportunity, because we had already been working on something called the Community Forestry Corps and the pilot program. So it really just came in great alignment for us to be able to create a program that not only replicated this framework of youth workforce development that we've created, but scale it up to providing these offerings to 12 new communities across the country. I wanted to share a little bit about the pilot program and how that influenced us in our creation of our CFC grant program. So, of course, as we all know, the world is heating up, especially over the last 2 summers. I think all of us in our communities can say that we have been uniquely experiencing exacerbated high heats. And of course, our current solutions, our organization drives significantly in the space of leveraging nature-based solutions as a strategy for mitigating some of these harms. But we know that even in the act of increasing canopy equitably across our neighborhood, across our communities, across the entire country, we still are going to need a significant investment in the infrastructure to care and maintain those trees for the long haul, and really making sure that we're capitalizing on this historic investment in federal flush of funding specifically for urban forestry. And so that ideation in that space of knowing where we needed to begin to think of creative solutions to fill those gaps is what bore the the Community Forestry Corps initiative in our pilot program this summer. So the Community Forestry Corps program is a community-based initiative that empowers youth to maintain and expand urban forests, gather critical local environmental information needed to increase community resiliency through heat data collection, and create an even more innovative approach to sustained grassroots level community development. We developed this pilot program alongside the unique communities that we had the chance to work with this summer, and I'll share a little bit more about that. As I mentioned, this summer, we were able to pilot this framework of the CFC in 4 communities, which included Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois, and Boise, Idaho. So the pilot program was really a foundational initiative aimed at addressing these urban forestry challenges while promoting workforce development and equitable community engagement. We were able to launch this in the 4 cities, and the pilot focused on increasing canopy, mitigating urban heat, and empowering local communities by integrating urban forestry efforts with workforce training and community partnership. The program not only expanded green infrastructure, but also generated valuable data and lessons on equitable implementation of climate resilience. And these insights directly shaped the design of our new CFC grant program that we were able to craft from our reserve funding opportunity with the Forest Service. So getting into a little bit of the grant program. So as of right now, as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, we're excited to officially have launched our grant program July 29th of this year. This essentially is expanding upon this capacity building and workforce development program that we piloted this summer. And so now this program will be allowed to be awarded to 12 communities over the course of 3 years of support. I want to just reinforce that not only are we expanding this to 12 communities, but we will be able to commit 3 years of grant funding support to these communities to help their workforce development in urban forestry efforts. And as part of our wonderful partnership with USDA, we were also able to expand in our offerings with the Urban Forestry Equity Fellowship Program. So this fellowship program will be an additional layer of support where we have 12 communities that will essentially be awarding the CFC grant. We have 5 of those communities that will be eligible to receive an urban equity fellow, and in 5 of those communities. And essentially, the fellowship is a program that addresses existing disparities in the representation of people of color in the sustainability field, and throughout USDN members network organizations. So these 5 communities will be eligible to receive a fellow through this competitive grant process, which will help provide additional layer of support and capacity to these selected communities' efforts. And so we're in a really exciting place. As I mentioned, one of the nuanced pieces of our workforce component is not only just this scaling and creating infrastructure and mechanism for these youth to plug into this work, but they're also being cross-sectionally trained in heat data collection. So we're working very, very closely with our partner Kappa Strategies. They played a crucial role in our partnership in creating a heat data collection framework and analysis for our community forestry court program. And so we're leveraging their expertise in focusing on neighborhood scale urban heat assessments in high risk neighborhoods across the country, and then using this data findings to the CFC program to inform effective urban heat mitigation strategies and enhance community engagement using local outreach and education to drive heat management in these communities. And so through this partnership, we're really excited because we believe that it'll ensure that urban heat resilience is built into a broader urban forestry goals on the local level. And one of the other really amazing partnerships that have spawned out of our pilot program, and now we're integrating into our grant program. And my colleague and comrade in trees, Matt Gray, has been a value add asset with SCA. We've been working with both SCA and Groundworks through the Community Forestry Core program to really strengthen partnerships on the local level. These organizations, both SCA and Groundworks, have valuable expertise and resources around these youth workforce crews, and they're helping us to enable more effective programmatic implementation as national partners. Many of the applicants that are putting forth for the CFC grant program are working very closely with both SCA and Groundworks to be essentially their partners in deploying these youth workforce crews and the management of them. And this collaboration is really unique because it ensures that grantees have access to additional resources and supports, especially if this is a new competency of work that they're entering in on the local level. And so lastly, but certainly not least, I just want to leave you all here with a call to action. And I'm really excited to get into our line of questioning, but communities across the country are invited to explore how a model like the Community Forestry Corps can strengthen workforce infrastructure. By engaging youth in meaningful employment focused on urban forestry and climate resiliency, you can enhance your local green infrastructure while addressing workforce needs. We're really excited about this unique opportunity to leverage this significant investment from the Forest Service. And like I said, this is coming at a very serendipitous, opportune time, and we're really excited about rolling out this work. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Matt.